Cool, so I'm going to take a quick walk around this bike, purely because the condition is just staggeringly bad. So, from the front wheel is loose and flat. From what I can see, there's no wiring harness. Everything is finger tight. It's missing the flywheel. It was missing the cover. Carburetor was off. I've already rebuilt that. The condition was actually, it was terrible. Everything is loose. It looks like this was stripped and quickly put together. The head is loose. It's missing the piston. Well, it's not missing the piston. I got a box of parts. The piston was in it. The owner said that this bike had low compression, so he was monkeying around in there. But I'm going to be pulling the engine out now, and we'll go through it and see what it needs. I've bought a gasket kit for it. We'll check the inside of the cylinder, see what that looks like, see what the cams look like. Maybe I might reassemble it, do a compression test just to see if he was telling the truth or not. So pretty much I saw this bike on Marketplace, and the Thumper is such an iconic bike. It just made me sad to see it in the condition that it was in. So I picked it up. Let's just see if we can get it at least started. Struggling to find parts for it, which I anticipated. Wiring harness, I'm probably going to have to fabricate. I just make one up, just to see if we can get it running. The front forks are trash. They're leaking all over the place. This has been converted to a monoshock. That shock also probably needs seals. That's toast. It's got no chain. It's got no foot pegs, which I just cannot find anywhere. They just don't seem to exist. It's missing the oil return line from the bottom end up to the oil tank in the frame. I wanted a project. This one might be a bit more than I can handle, but we'll see. Let's get it stripped down and get the engine out and have a look at it. Huh? So before I pull the engine out, the bike did come with a few parts, used gaskets. Well, I don't know if these are used, but some of them are. Came with a few gaskets. I think this is the bottom end, I think blow-by filter or something along those lines, I think. I'll have to double check. Came with the points cover. This flywheel cover didn't come with. I managed to find this on Marketplace. It was missing that. Came with an axle. Those are the brackets for the seat. It came with a very dodgy looking coil. A couple of indicators, looks like some kind of engine brackets, back brake. More importantly, there's the piston, and the seller had also taken the points out. So I'm not going to trust those. I've bought some stuff for this bike for the rebuild. I got a new gasket set, a new coil, condensers, points, new spark plug. I think it'll be a while till we need that. I bought some pretty levers, universal kill switch, because I'm going to have to end up making my own wiring harness to try to get it running. Some fuel hose. A new pepcock for the tank. It was missing. It's also missing the cap. And I bought a little flywheel puller. So it did come with a whole bunch of nuts and bolts which I've just stuck in some oil. And I don't know if you can see in there, but the cam chain is also there. It's attached to that little zip tie. I also bought clutch cables and a brake cable. Because the ones on the bike at the moment look quite rough. And luckily it had the decompression cable on it, because I couldn't find one of those. But yeah, and the engine, the engine's a bit rough, eh? See the points are missing. I haven't tried to drain any oil or anything like that. This is loose. Yeah, everything's loose. Everything was just put sort of finger tight back on by the seller. So like the bolts are sticking out. Well, that's, I don't know why he bothered. That's not doing anything really. But at least it should make taking the engine out easier. Yeah, let's get the engine out and have a look at it and see what we can do. Okay, engine's out. Let's start getting it stripped down and see what we're working with. Okay. Everything seems to be finger tight. So I think the top head was stripped and the seller just quickly put it back together. Got some old silicone or something going on in here. It's just dirty. Nothing seems broken. Let's have a look. Oh, the cam bearings sound very crunchy. They don't look worn or anything. I have ordered new bearings for it. And valve stem seals, a full bolt kit. Okay, so the valve springs seem okay. Just a little bit dirty, a little bit of rust. Yeah, everything looks okay. It's just very dirty. Well, the valves are very carboned up. Maybe the valves weren't sealing nicely. Could explain maybe the low compression the seller was talking about. I'll pull them out and have a look at them, clean them up, see how they're seating. Maybe we can just get away with lapping them, putting them back in. Right. We have a mystery cloth. I don't know. The seller, the Conrad's in there. The seller probably put it in so that the Conrad wouldn't hit the cylinder. Cylinder doesn't look too bad. I'll get you guys in here now. Yeah, some crosshatch. Doesn't look like there's any damage. Let's get the cylinder off and I'll show it to you guys. Yeah, this was definitely a part, which makes sense. with everything being out. It's just coming apart too easily. Look. So try to get some light in the cylinder. Yeah, doesn't look too bad. Hopefully we can get away with just honing it and popping the piston back in. So I'll grab the piston just to show it to you. So this is the piston that came with the bike. The rings aren't stuck. It's a little bit dirty. That patch there, maybe some blabber. So I don't know if you can see that, but it says 100 on it. So this is a 4 oversized piston then. They go up in 1/4 mil increments. That means it's 1 mil oversized. The interesting story about that is I'm struggling to find piston rings for it. I went into Yamaha. The 1 mil oversize, 4 times oversize has been discontinued. There are aftermarket replacements. There's a Waseco that comes with a full kit with the piston, and Kido in Germany has just the rings as well. So I'll see how much a full set is. It seems a bit of a waste. I don't know if the piston seems okay. There's no bits missing. Looks okay. It's got the wrist pin on it with the clip in there. The clip's not doing much, it's not holding it in, but I've got replacements anyway. Let's see. Everything's spinning nicely. Let's hold it up. Just trying to see what the crank bearing's like. There's no up and down play on it at all. Only a little bit of side to side, no up and down, which is awesome. There's quite a bit of rust. Let me get you guys in here. So there's quite a bit of rust on the inside, but it just looks like surface. Yeah. No up and down play, which is fantastic. So, like you can see, the flywheel is off. It's not missing, I do have it. It's in quite rough shape, so I'm going to try to get it cleaned up a little bit because I'm going to need it for timing later on. This is the stator that came with the bike. I'm going to take this off and send it to a winder just to have a look at and make sure everything is working properly, clean up the magnets. So I'm not going to be needing, I think this is the coil for general sort of electrics on the bike, like lights and things like that. And I need to check the manual, but I think this is for ignition. So I'm only going to be really using this because I'm not fixing this bike up and getting it roadworthy. This is going to be a dirt bike. So yeah, let's get this off. I had done an ohm test on this and it didn't seem to be within spec, but I'm going to send it off to someone that knows what they're talking about, just to be sure. I don't want to go through an entire engine rebuild and then trying to figure out why it's not starting just because the stator isn't working correctly. So that's not too far. I'll just go drop it off, get them to have a look over it to make sure everything's okay. The wiring is quite old, I'll maybe get them to replace that. I don't know, we'll see what they say. I had to order another key as well for the flywheel. It didn't come with one. I've gone through the little box of parts and bits and bobs that the seller gave me for the bike, and I couldn't see anything in there. So I've ordered quite a few bits and pieces off Keto. That was one of the things I ordered from them. I'm just going to flip it around. Oh, that's heavy. I'll leave that gasket on. So let's take this off. And have a quick look at the oil filter. This engine was dry, it didn't have any, there was no oil in it. There was also no oil in the frame, so I'm not expecting to make a big mess. I don't see any sparkles in it, so it doesn't look like there's any metal that I can see. That's the clutch cover. Doesn't look too bad. So it's a good thing I opened this, because the seller was obviously messing around in here as well. This is all loose. So, okay. It doesn't smell burnt or anything. I'm not going to play around with the clutch now. If I get it started, I'll whip that off and check everything. Cool, I think I'm going to leave it there for now until I get all my spares in, and then we can start putting this thing together, see if we can get it started. Cool, so it's been a few days since I've been able to work on this. I'm going to pull out the valves, check them and start cleaning everything up. If I have time, I'm going to try to clean up the stator as well, which is a bit grubby. Yeah. So the intake valve was a real pain to get out. I thought it might actually be bent, but it seems quite straight. It's just stuck. Yeah, there's no wobbles there. I'll check the exhaust valve. Yeah, they both look good. It must have just been stuck. So I'm going to try to clean up the valves. This is just a bit of Skyro pad or Scotch Brite. Yeah, let's try to clean them up a little bit. There's quite a lot of carbon on here. See if we can try shine it up. Underneath of this one, this seems quite rough. And I think the battery on my drill is dying. Yeah, I'm going to do the other valve and throw them in the ultrasonic cleaner and carry on from there. Valves are out of the ultrasonic cleaner. They're much better, but they're not, I wouldn't call them great. So the rocker box and the cylinder head are out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Cleaned them up after that, scrubbed them up with some carb cleaner, and I took a plastic bristle brush to the mating surfaces, and they cleaned up. Yeah, they seem to have cleaned up quite well. Very happy. So looking at the valves closer, the intake valve I really struggled to get out. I thought it was either bent or there was dirt in the inside. I've cleaned everything up, checked the valves. The valve isn't bent, but if you look closely at the tip, it's tapered out like that. So the tip of the valve diameter is outside its shaft. So I think this motor is beginning to make a lot more sense to me now, and why it was essentially put in a parts bike. I think the valve clearance was too high, or there wasn't enough oil, and with the rocker hitting it, has just bent it out of shape. So I was trying to, why it was so difficult is this was wider than the channel it was coming out of. I think I dodged the bullet there. So, and the exhaust, the bottom of that valve looks like the surface of the moon. It's so pitted. So I went and picked up 2 new valves because I'm not putting these in. Yeah, definitely not. These are going in the rubbish bin. So I'm going to lap these valves in now. So this is the coarse compound and then the fine compounds underneath. Okay, so I've put new valve seals in, and I'm going to put the valves in, put the springs back on, and then this head should be done. Okay, the new valves are in. I was struggling to do it and keep a good camera angle, so I just killed the camera and finished them off. Yeah, so that's the head done, all cleaned up, ready to go. I dropped my cam shaft off with the mechanic today to get the bearings put on, so hopefully I'll get that back soon and we can start getting this engine back together. So I went ahead and changed the rocker arms. The camera wasn't recording when I did it, so I'm just going to do a walkthrough of what I did. This was the original rocker arm that was in the bike, and right there's actually a very deep groove worn into the rocker. So luckily I managed to get a decent set of second-hand ones from the same guy that I bought the valves, and I've swapped them out. So yeah, that would have caused all kinds of problems, and it actually makes sense why, because this was the rocker cover for the intake valve. The damage to the top end on this is starting to make a lot more sense now. So this was worn out. Maybe the valve clearance, I don't know, wasn't set properly or lack of oil, but this is very, very bad. So these are the new, well, the second-hand ones, but in better shape rockers that I put in. To swap them out, you take these 2 bolts out, and the axle or the spindle that goes through the rockers is inside behind these 2 bolts. So to get them out, I had to look it up in the manual. You take it's a 6mm bolt out of the clutch cover, and the little spindle that holds the rockers in place is threaded, and you thread this into it. And then I couldn't just pull them out with my fingers. I ended up having to use a slide hammer, but on the first hit it came out, so they were a little bit stuck. So I took them out, cleaned them up, oiled them up, put the new rockers in, put the bolts back on. So today, while I'm killing time waiting for the rest of my spares to arrive that I ordered, I'm going to put the flywheel and stator back on. I got a new woodruff key, which was missing, and a new nut for the flywheel. Okay, so the flywheel's back on. I'm just going to take this cover off the bottom to check there's a filter inside here. I want to have a look at it and clean it up. Oh wow.
Mom said she really wants a cup of tea because she wants a cupcake.
Okay, so I'll come make a tea now. Okay, so that's the square key for the timing gears that I had to order because I thought it was lost. It was obviously when they were taking it off, it fell in the bottom. If you can see that. There's another type of pin, another pin in there. Then I have to try to figure out where that came from. Cool, so I've got the bottom cover cleaned up. All the surfaces are nice and clean. There was a lot of sludge in there that I sorted out. Cleaned up the mating surfaces and this little screen. Going to prop a new gasket on, throw it back on. So I'm going to pop the oil line back on. I thought before I did it just looked a little bit grubby. I just hit it with a wire wheel and gave it a coat of black. timing marks at 12 o'clock. These two timing marks are correct. The issue I'm having is top dead center on the flywheel. Should be there. So I think when I put the flywheel on, I've broken the woodruff key, I think. But at the moment I don't have a puller to get the flywheel off, so I'm going to have to try find one and see what's going on there. Cool, so I'm going to pop the rocket cover back on and check the valve spacing as well. So I haven't put any gasket maker on here yet, and I haven't really torqued anything down. I just want to fully assemble everything, turn the engine, and just make sure that everything is correct. Cool. I'm going to try rotate it and see if there are any issues. Hopefully it just rotates and there's no problems. Looking good. Very happy. I'm getting air blown in my face out of the spark plug hole, which means, well, I'm hoping the compression is decent. New rings are doing their job. Awesome. Cool. I think that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to check out the clutch in the next one, make sure that's okay, torque everything down, maybe try and neaten up the bike a little bit, sort out the springs, give it a coat of paint. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes.